to Canal Sidings, video number 6. As you can see, we've switched away from the viaduct end of the layout to something different as promised last time, and what I'm doing now and what I've been working on first of all is another warehouse. This is going to be the ex-Lancashire and Yorkshire warehouse, and is actually made up of pieces of this sort of stuff, which actually comes from Skytrex model railways, and they are resin mouldings which you have to prepare and fix together with super glue. You also get these pieces that go in between to separate them, but they do take quite a lot of preparation. The windows all need cleaning up, and they have to be adjusted so that the walls actually sit vertical to one another. They also come with this strange piece on the bottom, which I'm told by the guy at Skytrex is because they made a mistake, and if you put them flat to the baseboard there's no way that any stock will run underneath the warehouse entrances. I've decided to take those off, and I'm going to build the whole building up onto a plinth of about 4mm high, which will extend out from the front of the building to form a concrete apron here, which is often the case outside a warehouse, and inside then it will give way to platforms for unloading, etc. This part of the warehouse stands out, as you can see, and of course it needs a roof. Here I will be adding 3 more pieces like this, but they will be flat against the back scene. This area is going to have a floor across here, and in this corner I intend to have some offices. This area will be a storage area, and down below will be the loading and unloading area, and over here will be whatever you like, storage, but we won't be able to see any of it because I can't put any details unless I can find some pictures that show well behind the windows when they're right up close. That I shall worry about later on. The reason I switched to doing this warehouse is because I got some items from a guy called Brendan McGrath at a company called Ghost Signs, and what I actually got him to make me are these signs. Probably can't see them very well there, back there a bit better, and these signs are faded water slide transfer signs, and I intend them to go there and there. Got 2 different levels of fading. We've got the almost not faded at all, and the one that I probably favour is this one, and exactly what you see on a lot of old buildings, and I think he's made a brilliant job of it and didn't charge me a lot of money. I wasn't sure whether he did bespoke work, but I just contacted him and he was happy to give it a go, and did a very good job of it, I have to say. I was very impressed by how well he came up with ideas and has produced something which I'm hoping I can do justice to on this building. But I did promise him that once I'd got it done I would send him some photographs, and therefore I thought, come down this end, do this first, so that I don't have to leave him waiting for a year or more before he sees what he's done for me. You'll notice that, as I said in the video number 1, these 2 tracks are going to run into the warehouse, and you will be able to see in, and so I've just knocked it over, let's just straighten it up, it's only just sitting there, and it's only about that deep. So what I intend to do is put a mirror behind here. Now it won't show, I can't leave it there because it falls over, it won't actually show very much, but it is quite interesting when you've got the mirror there if you look into the doors, because it actually does look much bigger than it is. So that I will be doing as well, but we'll see how that progresses in future editions. This piece here, which doesn't reach the wall and why it twisted funny angle just now, I'm just going to fill in with plain wool because, as you can see, you can't really see round this side anyway. It's completely impossible. And there will be another building that goes back to somewhere around about there anyway. So there will only be a small gap through which you can see. And that building comes to there, but also goes back further on this side. And almost fills the corner. That's a building for another day. Okay, I'll just move the camera and I'll come back. Now, what I failed to mention in any of the previous videos, and certainly the first video where I showed these two tracks and all of the other tracks in context, was that the centre of this layout, which consists of this siding all the way along past this point and right up to the viaduct, which is well seen here, and these two sidings actually form what is known as an ingle-nook shunting puzzle. If you want to know more about it, just type in ingle-nook to Google and you will find lots of links to the ingle-nook shunting puzzle. What it is essentially is that there are a set of rules. The rules are that you start off with 8 wagons. This siding can hold up to 5 wagons. This siding can hold up to 3, and this siding can hold up to 3. As you can see, there are 3 wagons in there, and if I try to put a 4th one in, there's absolutely no way I can then get down here, so that is really a 3-wagon siding. And the other side of this point, there's enough room on an ingle-nook for the locomotive and up to 3 wagons. What we do is we start off with 8 wagons, and we have the 8 wagons anywhere on these 3 sidings, but they have to be in the sidings. The order doesn't matter, and how many are on which siding don't matter, and the loco will be up here, up this end somewhere. And we have a set of 8 cards, 1 for each wagon, and we shuffle the cards and then we deal them out. So we would deal them out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we just deal 5 cards. The other 3 we don't use. Those 5 cards, in the order in which they are turned up, determine the train that you've got to build from the wagons that are sitting on the sidings, and you've got to build that train in this siding, ready to take away. So you've got to leave the other 3 wagons over there. There are apparently some 6,500 possible puzzles that come out of that, and some of them can be quite difficult to work out how to do. Some of them are very easy, but as I say, if you want to know more, just type into Google ingle-nook shunting puzzle and you will find out a lot more about it. It's an interesting thing that's been invented, I have to say. I've decided to do it that way so that when I got bored with doing nothing else and wanted to play, rather than trying to shunt meaningfully, then I could get somebody else, i.e. a set of random playing cards, to tell me exactly how to go shunting. Okay, the next thing we'll talk about is something new to the layout, a new accessory that I intend to include upon it, which is going to be fairly high tech and is going to involve a couple of small extensions, hopefully about 7-inch extensions, behind the back seams at each end of the railway, one up this end and one way down the other end. But I'll set the camera up differently, get a few bits and pieces out, and we'll go and talk about that. That is my next baby that I want to have a play with. Well, here we are. This is my originally unplanned accessory on Canal Sidings, and as you can see, it's the Faller car system. Now I intend to play about with this and use it slightly differently to the way it's intended, because my vehicles won't be driving along a road, they'll actually be driving through the goods yard from one end to the other and hopefully disappearing and coming back later. But I've got a lot of work to do to figure out how to do all of that. But I thought I'd just introduce what we've got and what it's all capable of. So, the cars are quite expensive for the system, or cars, lorries, they're all called cars, and the best way to actually get started is to buy a starter set. So I picked this up off Amazon for £80 on Amazon Prime, so delivered next day for free, which is pretty good, because if you buy that vehicle on its own it will cost you £80. The vehicles are all of German origin, which is a bit of a problem, but it's very easy, from what I've seen on YouTube, to do adaptations by taking the good bits out of the vehicles and adding them into other more British outline vehicles, and that's what I intend to have a go at. This vehicle is actually an MAN truck. It's a very small truck, and I believe that I can anglicise it enough not to actually have to use the parts anywhere else, just to keep it almost as it is, and that is my intention initially. So let's get on and get it out of the box. So let's open the box. Several different sections in here. Let's take this one out first. Now that's just the vehicle. How does that come out? Ah, there we go. Just sat inside. And nothing else in that piece at all. So there we have the vehicle with its steering, steered by a little magnet, which you can probably just about see there, and drive wheels. I have a switch on the bottom, see if it's got any charge. Switch it on. Oh yes, the wheels are turning. Hey. I think we might need some guide road for that. Put that on there for a minute and we'll look at the rest of the box. Oh, now we have to take the whole lot out. Okay, slide the whole box off. Right, so we'll get rid of that bit. And now we have several more sections. Not quite sure what that is. Looks as if it might be a filler spreader or something. Not really sure at all what that is. Now this is very heavy. Ah, it's filler. Okay, yeah, that's the filler for the road. After you've cut the slots for the guide wires, then you use this filler and then you smooth it down. And to go with it, we have this, which is paint, road paint. I'm not going to open that because I have no idea how easy it is to spill. And under here we have two pieces of guide wire, which don't know what size they are. Look about 1/2 millimetre. Let's have a look. Yeah, 0.5 millimetre. So we have two lengths of that. I guess that's 5 metres per length. all that we have in that side. What have we got in this side? A book. In English. Interesting. Ah, and on the back it's in German. Okay, that will probably tell us a bit about how to put it together. I actually know most of this anyway because I've actually spent quite a bit of time on YouTube looking at how to do this. Okay, so we have that, and we have some road markings which are distinctly continental. Some guarantees and another bit of information. Oh, and these look like crash barriers, or posts for crash barriers. Over there. Whoops, sorry camera. And that, which I think is wing mirrors or door mirrors for the vehicle. I'll have to look at those later. There's some more in here. Ah, here we are. Here are the actual crash barriers. Once again, very continental. Something else at this end. Ah, this feels like... Yep. This is the charger for the vehicle. Yes. This is the charger for the vehicle. Very sad that although it was purchased in the UK, it does not come with a UK plug, so we're going to have to use an adapter when we charge that. Strangely, the company I worked for would not have dared supply just a UK plug to sell on the continent, but it seems that the Continentals are quite happy to supply us with their rubbish that we actually can't use. So a bit miffed about that, I have to say, for the price of it. And that's it. Nothing else in there at all. Just a box. So there we have it. Crash barriers, road markings which are pretty useless for UK, a couple of guarantees, the charger, the vehicle itself, some vehicle accessories I think, very strange looking spatula, and some guide wires. So we need to get on with some of this then. Now what I have already done, so that I don't only have one vehicle, I have actually purchased on eBay a couple more vehicles. These were pretty much a bargain price. I got the two for £112. When you consider that they're typically £70 or £80 each, it's a pretty good deal. And I did get a charger with them as well, so I have two chargers. Again, I have the steering with the magnet to follow the guide wires. They have a switch. Again, it runs. And the charging socket. I didn't mention that. There is a charging socket on that other lorry. And this one is the same. Now this one I have damaged since getting it from eBay and knocked off the cab. I thought the cab would come off easily, and I actually broke the cab trying to get it off. But as a German lorry with a driver on the wrong side isn't really much use to me, I'm not too worried about that. I shall be doing something else with it. I've also noticed that it doesn't seem to sit at the right angle. It seems to be very high at the front. I don't know if you can see that sitting there, but it seems to be tipped backwards. Again, not that it's too much of a worry for me because I don't actually intend to use that vehicle. But what I can do is show you, knock that cab off, and show you what's inside. And these are the secrets of the Fowler car system. What we have is an amazing little motor that points down on a worm to drive the drive gear on the axle. a couple of rechargeable batteries. There's also here a stop reed switch, which allows you to put a magnet underneath the track to stop and start the vehicle. And if I switch it on, you'll see, if I can find the switch, it's going, and that motor is driving the wheels vertically. Now the fact that they do that, can't find the switch again, the fact that they do that is very interesting. And it's the way they do articulated lorries. They actually have this driving the wheels of the little tractor unit and this up in the trailer. So we'll be looking at doing some of that soon. I can't do anything to show you how it all works because I've got no wire laid into any track. The next thing I want to do is use some of this wire to lay into some test track, just to see what I can and can't do with it. But my intention is to run it along the front of the layout. Now one thing that is probably going to happen, if we take this vehicle and try and run it straight, very difficult to get it to run straight. But that's probably going to be a little bit fast for running along the front of the layout. Running in a goods yard, in other words. Let's see if we can do better with this one. Again, a bit fast. Because they're designed to run on the roads. Designed to run on a road and not on a bit of rough road, rough ground. So I'm waffling a bit now because I am now in unknown territory. So I'm going to go away, I'm going to play with it, and I'm going to see what I can come up with as a test track. So I'll let you know how I get on. Okay, I've started having a look at the car system, but it's going to take me quite a while to sort it all out. And this video has now gone quite a bit over 20 minutes, so it's probably getting too long. I don't like to keep you sitting for too long having to watch my wafflings. So I'm going to wrap it up now and say thanks for watching, and please come back to Canal Sidings for the next video. Please subscribe and like and leave me some comments. I'll promise to answer every one if I possibly can. Until next time, goodbye everybody.